Hello, YouTube. This is the fourth time remaking it. So, um, this is my coming out video of being gay. And if you read the title, you would understand. There's some things before we get into the story part and question part that I want to bring up as I'm not fully out, and that's going to answer one of the questions coming up. And I am about open to half of people I know, which that answers another question. But also, the three other video takes that I did, one was actually Mike not on, so I'm not really sure what I said in that one. But the other two, I want to say that a couple things that I've noticed when I was coming out to people is that the first thing that they always say is, what can I do to help? What can I do something different? And the easy question to that is, or what can I change about myself? And the better thing to say to that I have noticed is just tell them that you're just gonna be yourself, and nothing, there might be some changes, but you're still gonna be human, you're gonna be the same. And I know some people that came out and they got backlashed, and I the only thing I can say is, if you're a friend to a person that categorizes themselves as a person in the LGBTQ plus, hopefully I got that right, that you can be open, honest to, you can tell them and they can tell you whatever. It's really hard in the LGBTQ to find some like safe type space. So, and that is one of the reasons why I didn't fully come out yet to everyone. But I'm hoping to do it with this video to get more people that are a little bit more distant to know like how I feel and how this is changing like my life in the long run. So, in my other videos, I've also talked about, in the not recorded but messed up videos. So, something that I've noticed that has changed is, I'm gonna try not to pause, but I know I will pause. Hopefully, I get all them out in editing. But some things I've noticed, way back then, toys were not a unisex type of toy. Like you had Barbie. Well, the best example is Barbies versus GI Joes, or like action figures versus Barbies, or action figures versus dolls would be a more better to place it as. And I'm not sure when it came out, but whoever makes Barbie, I don't know, made Ken, which he's also a Barbie, but he's a male figure in Barbie. And I've seen kids play with that instead of Barbie, and parents being fine with that. But back then, if a boy played with a Barbie, they would be shamed. They wouldn't be like they wouldn't be accepted as, oh, that kid's just playing with a simple little toy. Another thing is long hair. Um, straight males, kids, um, didn't have long hair back then, but now in 2020, it's okay to look a little bit different and have long hair and maybe act a certain way, maybe show some feelings, because back then it's like you cry and your parents or someone, not pointing fingers at anyone, would say like crying makes you wimpy. You know, crying is just a human emotion. And anytime when I see that, a parent yelling at their kid saying stop crying, it it hurts me sometimes seeing that, because I know I went through that a bit, and my parents like figured that out like very early, so they didn't do that as much. And you're probably wondering how do I know that they did that? I can remember from a young age, um, them yelling at me for no particular reason, but in their eye, they saw something wrong, and after a couple more years passed, they understood me a bit more and started to change my habits to the better side. So, um, those are just like a couple examples of then and now things that I've noticed, and I'm hoping in the years to come that more people will be more open to the LGBTQ community and learn about people like Martha and Stonewall and what Pride actually stands for most people. And I know around where I live, people do not know or understand that, and I wish they would. So, now let me think. I think that's all I wanted to say. There's probably a bit more that is just off my mind, but there's like kind of two stories that I want to touch on for like my coming out story, which I have one that was very young and then a middle age and then after high school, so I'll try to get through all three of them as quick as I can without being technical. So when I was young and I knew something was up anytime, so this was like probably when I had to be like around 5ish. It was I went to this daycare probably for close to two, I want to say about 2ish years, and part of this daycare had a Bible camp type thing for some kids, or it was like a free at certain ages, whatever. So, and I think it was Catholic, and I know deep in the Catholic community they do not like gay or changes. They like most things. I won't say everything because all Catholics are not like taught the same or treated the same. So I'm gonna just leave it as that. But I remember going to daycare or whatever it was, and about close to, for some odd reason, recess was about 3 hours long, if I remember right. And it would be like segmented into toy time, drawing, and then kind of like video or something. So every day it would be like toy time first. So everyone would run over to the toy box, and there would be like stuffed animals, GI Joes, as I bring up again, um, Barbie dolls, and a bunch of things. Like there was at least 5 toy chests to pick from. Like there was also Hot Wheels and other things, but for some odd reason, my mind, like my head went straight to the Barbies, and I remember, um, I want to say all the time, but a lot, a lot of the time, I think I just backtalked myself there, but a lot of the time, there was this one old daycare worker, and she would always take the Barbie away from me, and I would cry, and then she would give me the GI Joe or like a race car or something else instead of the Barbie or the feminine toy. Let's just put it that way, that I wanted to play with. And over the years, my brain went like taught myself like I can't have that, so I guess I have to play with this. So that I'm not even sure where I would put it as, if they're just being more, if she was just like a Catholic, or it was just like a no thing to her, because I remember the main daycare worker would actually switch it back. So, and I remember always seeing them two fighting and yelling, and I didn't like that, so I always kind of like distanced myself like away into like a corner. So, and then after that, it was like nap time or some type of like little lesson or something, but that was basically that. So then, um, we can jump up to middle school. Middle school's when I kind of figured out that I was gay, and I was like definitely questioning, like I questioned why I had some attractions to some of my classmates. And I thought at that time it was weird. It wasn't like natural, because everyone was like, "Oh, do you see, like, let's just put a random person like Jessica, did you see her, or like what cup size, or what, like all these like weird things." And I'm like, I don't want to hear that. Why are people so like obsessed with knowing what cup size a girl is, or what like underwear, like very stupid, idiotic middle school things. But I remember, I think it was eighth grade. I think it was eighth grade is when like I got more like shy, because I put myself out there and got somewhat rejected in a way. I gave this boy a note, and like did the cliche like meet me behind whatever, or let's meet up for this or that. And when we would meet up, if he would always be like, "Oh, I got this weird note from a girl," because I would make it anonymous, like very like plain Jane. And he would always be like, "Oh, this girl's like hitting me up and all this," and I'm like, I'm that person. And when I mentioned that to him, he got very weird about it, and we distanced pretty far. Got back hooked up in high school, and he was the only boy that knew that I was gay. And anytime when we were like somewhat close, he would always like distance him more, like he didn't want to be near me and in school. But back to the middle school story. So anyone that graduated with me, and where I went to school, they knew where the woodshop classes, and so after woodshop in eighth, I think it was eighth grade, uh, the gym locker rooms were like right out the room, and then just like a couple feet or like a minute away from the woodshop room. So I would always, when the bell rung, ran out of woodshop and ran straight into the locker room. And of course, for some odd reason, we had to have locks on our lockers. So we had an assigned locker. So I would always leave it so it's like one click, and then yank the lock, grab the clothes, and I would always run into one of the shower bays to quickly change, or into the toilet stall to change. And I just felt very uncomfortable, like changing in front of other guys. So I was always the first one in and always the last one out. Like, I would always talk up the teacher, and I'm pretty sure at least one of the gym teachers was kind of understanding where I was coming from, and I would always have a know why I was late or too late to the next class. Like, I would almost always get a pass, or if that one gym teacher I had, because we rotated through like 5 gym teachers, like it'd be a gym teacher for 1 week, and then you would switch to another and go down the line, and then like you do that. So like there was 1 week that he kind of knew what was going on, so he would always like kind of like nod his head over, like the locker room's open, go change, and then just wait for the bell and go to your next class type thing. So he was really cool. He was probably the best gym teacher there. So here's the last one, and this is after high school. High school, I knew I was fully gay. Didn't really tell many people, like only maybe 5 to 6 other people knew, but no one in the school. So at the time there was one guy and maybe 1 or 2 teachers, and the nurse kind of knew something was up. And so, and in high school I tried again on another boy, and it completely fell apart. It didn't even get up to the part of like us meeting up. I guess someone saw me slip a note into the boy's locker, and then that someone told the boy. I think that's how it went. So after high school, my best friend Kathy, we there was one day she messaged me. So there's kind of like 2 parts. Actually, no. Okay, so the first time that she kind of knew, the first time she kind of knew was we both planned a trip to Disney, because our senior Disney trip was a disaster. So we planned, at least I think it was like 2 years after we graduated, we were gonna go back to Disney and spend a whole week there, and we did. And somehow she planned the Star Wars celebration on that day. I don't remember like her ever mentioned that the Star Wars celebration was there. So there was, I think the first thing that kind of tipped her was, I'm a big eyes guy. If you have different shades of eyes than brown or black, Oh, you're killing me. So, um, I remember we got onto a bus. I want to think it was to Disney Springs, which is the shopping district, or we're coming back from um what is it called? The main park, like the big park that has like Futureland and um oh my god, I can't Magic Kingdom. There we go. We got on the bus and the driver looked drop dead gorgeous. I mean, he was like a 10 out of 10, but you can tell he was a like a foreigner type guy, and I'm pretty sure they hired him just for the looks. If they did for something else, then I don't know what it was. But he had we left and he was like wishing everyone have a good day, have a good night, whatever. And I turned to him and I looked straight into his eyes. He had the darkest emerald green eyes, and I've never seen greener eyes than that. And when we got off the bus, my knees were shaking. I couldn't really stand up. Like, he was so beautiful. And um Kathy, my friend, was like, what's up? And not thinking, I'm like, did you see that gorgeous ass man? Did you see his eyes? And I'm like, oh. And she's like, are you okay? I'm like, and then I'm like, did I really just say that? I'm like, yes, I did. And then I'm like, no, I'm good. And I think that was the first tip off. Then going a couple more days, I think it was the Star Wars celebration down in wherever Tower of Terror is. I can't remember what park that was, but she for we oh my god, what was it? Yeah, it was a Star Wars celebration wherever Tower of Terror was. We went to, and I remember her saying the next day we were going to some Star Wars convention type thing. I was not excited, but she paid for my ticket. I'm still happy that she did because it was amazing. I mean, amazing. I didn't think I was gonna like it. I'm not big into Star Wars, so I was like, this is just a waste. This is not meant for me. This is for someone else. But um, back to Disney, and we were going to the Star Wars celebration, and she decided to dress up as Luke, and I got her all in the outfit. He had this weird sash thing, and it wasn't even part of the like main outfit. It was like a side accessory. So she asked me to help her put it on. So I put it on her, and I'm flattening everything. And after I'm done helping her, she's like, are you okay? I'm like, yeah, why? She's like, well, you just like, I'm gonna butcher this, patted my breast for a good 5 minutes and you did not freak out or blush or anything. I'm like, wait, I was? I'm like, I'm just trying to get her all prepped up, and let's just say her outfit could have came from IKEA. There was so many things busted, and I wish I brought my cosplay kit with me to help fix it up, but we did what we could to make that thing look better. So I'm pretty sure that tipped her off. Another thing. So then we come back from Disney, probably jumping a couple months, maybe even a year later. I can't remember if she wants to do a video with me, talking about the difference. between gay and bi, and she is bi. And if she's comfortable and you guys want to see it, I'm willing to do the video. But if she's not, then I'm sorry. So then, like, going like maybe a year later, I remember her texting me. I really need to talk to you. Can we meet up? And in my mind, I'm like, okay, sure. I was already gonna invite her to the local mall to go shopping, like how we almost always did back then. Like almost every week, we're at this one mall, and we would be there for like 4 to 6 hours, just like rummaging through the stores, making stupid comments about like what people would wear. Like we go into like Forever 21 and all these other fashion type stores, and we would like comment like, who in the right mind would wear that? But for this pushing that aside, I mean, we went to Wendy's because we don't eat, like, rarely eat. So I know we were both hungry, so we went to Wendy's. I paid for both of our meals, which only came up to like $10, so very cheap, very not expensive. So we both sat down, and I knew, because we've been friends since first or second grade. It depends on who you ask. I say second, she says first. So I knew something was up. I can read a person pretty well, and she was shook. There was something up with her. So she says Mark, which is my name, and I don't know if everyone knows that. And Ash is my gay name, hence my username somewhat ish. But she's like, Mark, I need to tell you something. I'm like, what? You can tell me anything. Don't be worried. Nothing's gonna change. She's like, I'm bi. I'm like, oh. Yeah, that shocked me. That I remember the whole rest of the day, I was just like stunned. Like my head was just foggy, which didn't really help because I was the driver. So my head was foggy the whole day. She knew something was up with me. So I remember we just canceled the day short. I dropped her off, and usually I would stay at her house for a couple more hours and then go home, and I would do my thing at the house. And in my head, I'm like, oh my god, so much stuff is gonna change. And I always remember, I'm going through some things too. So I'm betting she's going through the same things. So I'm like, nothing's gonna change. Everything's gonna be the same. She might find someone, but we're still gonna be friends. And so that shocked me. And then I want to say maybe a year-ish later after she said that, so this is bringing somewhere in 2016, 2017, somewhere around there, to give you like a little time thing. I started doing my hair thing, so like I bleached it, I dyed it, and that's like a little subtle hint. Like in high school, I was plain. I didn't want to be the person being like, you're doing a lot of weird stuff. What's up? So I was like full haircut. I was big at the time. Like I just tried to like scoot on by like nothing was happening. But I wanted to do so many things, and she got to do all these things. Like she bleached her hair, she dyed her hair, she did she gauged her ears. I wanted to gauge my ears. I got my ears pierced. My dad flipped his shit. I still want to gauge my ears though. And when all this COVID stuff ends, I'm definitely gonna get my ears pierced and rock it for as long as I can. I don't know if I will still gauge it. I do want to. Not big, in fact, so. And I remember, I think I had bright red hair or purple hair. I can't remember which one. And I'm like, I got something to show you slash tell you. So I think she was only expecting one thing and she got two. So I went into her house, went to her bedroom, and I think we were gonna go out. I can't remember if we went out or we stayed in. I really can't remember. So I had all my hair. My hair was quite shorter than this, like probably half of what I have now. So I pulled the cap off, and she's like, "Oh my god, that looks so great." And then I'm like, "I have something else to tell you." And then she's like, "What?" I'm like, "I'm gay." And she's like, "Welcome to the club!" Like, open arms, everything. Like, she was so accepting. I was, at that time, I was shocked. I felt like, I don't deserve all that acceptance because I didn't give all that acceptance at first. So I was kind of like hesitant about it, and like I didn't know how to feel. Like, I'm like, I don't deserve this. But then in my back mind, I'm like, she literally went through almost the same exact stuff. Only thing is, she knows how to feel. Like me going through school and stuff, I kind of got taught up, and coming through YouTube, I got taught that you sometimes you need a thick skin of all the nasty slurs are going to be called, all the comments that are going to be coming your way. And I built a barricade. And I wish I didn't, because these past couple days, I know she's been going through hell and back with stuff I'm not gonna mention, but it's like very, very bad. And she was crying one day, and it was me and her mid sister. She has three sisters, and her mid sister leaves the room, and she's crying and sobbing, and I literally froze up. I did not know what to tell her. And I told her all the things that I've went through. Like, she's going through something I've already seen 6 times or so. So I was totally numbed out. I didn't know what to do, but I told her everything's gonna be fine. You just have to believe, and I'm here for you for everything. If you need something, call. And we both agreed, and I'm talking to her every day. So the only thing is, she she doesn't know anything about this video of me coming out to more people than just her sister, and her older sister, and a couple of somewhat distant friends. And I'm hoping with this video I can get the majority of my friends out there. And I know this video is long, so I'm gonna be putting timestamps in, and I should have mentioned that in the very beginning. So that's like all the stories. And if you're going through stuff, you need to find your friends, and then your friends, the ones that will always have your back. And she is one of those one of those friends, and I don't know what I would do without her. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm getting emotional. But before we get into the question and answers, which I mostly already answered all of them except for a couple, I've also want to mention again, if you're an ally or if you know someone that isn't, please teach them some things and hopefully they'll run with it and like start researching. So a lot of people only know about, and I have pictures because I'm just that person. People all know this, the gay flag, and kind of like what it stands for. But a lot of people don't know the sexual side of flags and the millions of others, like the transgender flag, the queer flag, all those others. There's like about 15 different flags. And when I first came out to one of my friends from high school, which she's pan, and for the longest time, her Instagram icon was her cartoon with a striped color flag behind her. And me, I thought it was just her favorite colors. I did not know that it was an actual pansexual flag. I thought it was just, as I said, just her favorite colors. But as I said, there's like about 15 plus flags out there, and probably more to come with the LGBT plus community literally growing every day. So everyone knows about that flag, but no one, or not much people know about this flag, which is the demisexual flag, and that is what I am. I am demisexual, which in simple terms just means, and I'll have the big definition right here right now, and yeah, so basically it just means I can say a person's hot, he's cute, I want to bang him, but in real sight, I more than likely will shy out. I won't do anything because I'm not allosexual. I think that is, I could probably butcher that wrong, meaning I'm not going to have sex with you until I really get to know you and everything. So, through one of my cousins chatting with her, she talking to one of my friends that has moved far away, didn't call it the demisexual flag. He actually called it the friend flag, which also kind of to me means the same, meaning we're like, this means that we would, like, if I met you, you would be an acquaintance, but if we kept on meeting up, we would become friends, which that's kind of what this, to me, this flag really kind of stands for. I know it's kind of strange to be mentioned, like comparing friends and then a sexual preference or a sexual attraction to. So that is the two flags to me that really resemble me, and
with a lot of the coming out videos that I have seen, they do not talk about their second flag or their third flag, as I've only seen, I think, one person talk about, but they never made a video about it. So you have seen mine, my gay, and then the demisexual flag, and that's what this the Fitbit band to me it represents is my sexual um, like desires, something like that. But I know this video is how long. We're almost done. Now it's time for the Q&A, and I'll try to blast the room as fast as I can. Like any good YouTuber, we always go to the internet when we can't find the questions. So, it's about 10-ish questions, and I'll try to go through them kind of as quickly as I can. And I know in the second or third video I went through these and I skipped a big chunk of them, so I'm glad that I'm actually spending more time to remake it. So okay, so first question: when did you know you were not straight? As I said, I knew I wasn't straight since I was very young. To give a better answer, I would have to say when I was about in middle school, so I would think somewhere like 13, I kind of had like a bigger, like, I'm not straight kind of revelation or something. So, two, what impact has coming out had on your life personally? So I'll answer in the way of the people that I've already told. I feel like I can be more true to myself. I can talk about makeup. I can talk about heels. I can talk about how a guy looks, and if a girl to me, like what she's wearing is somewhat like like not good, I can bring that up. A lot of friends don't like that, but I'm sorry, but I still do. It's just who I am. Like the best thing is since senior year, I actually have put on some makeup, and a lot of people would not have guessed that. But I don't put on a lot, like concealer. If I have like a lot of pimples, I'll probably cover up the majority of them and leave like up one blemish or whatever. So I feel more normal. Like I can talk without like a filter on. So, and I like that. I don't like being a person being restricted, because I feel like I'm just like my best analogy is like if you put like water in a beaker and plug the top and hold it over a flame, there's gonna be so much pressure that it just explodes, and I feel like that's gonna happen. And I already had that happen a couple times, and I had to snap myself out of it, and I did not like the feeling of it. So, um, okay, number three, what impact has it had on your life publicly? So, I can't really answer that because I'm not fully out, but I'm, as a lot of my distant friends that I've came out to saying, you can pass being straight if like you don't talk about certain things. So, and a lot of them marked me as the straight gay. looking, which I can see. I can truly see it. So I don't really have an opinion on that. I feel like a person that would like paint their nails or like dress differently or like wear high heels, I know they would have a different outlook on it. But since I dress normally like t-shirt, pants, a hairband to control this mess, a watch, I have like a couple bracelets, a necklace, like it's all in this day and age normal. It's not like flashy. I have a couple rings. I don't know if that would be marked as gay. I've seen a lot of straight guys, I wanted to say dudes, but straight people wear rings. So I'm not sure how to quite answer that. Okay, number 4. Have you talked to other people about their coming out stories? What did you what did you advise them? I don't think that is quite worded correctly, but thank you, Internet. Um, I really. Okay, my friend Kathy, I know for a fact she only came out to about the same amount of people that I have, but I've talked to more of my friend Jess, which is my pan friend, and she's out to, as I hear, the majority of people that she's pan, and she gave me some advice, and I tried following it, but some advice that she gave me was just just like normal run the mill things. I did talk to a distant um, friend's cousin, which he is gay, and he's been gay for about 12 years openly. And he gave me some good advice as just since I look the way I look and I don't like I'm not gonna change it much more of the way I look. He's like, you can take as long as you want because you look the way you look, and there's nothing that is gonna change your look if you come out. So that's what I have been doing. I've been coming out slowly and safely because, as I said, I've seen a lot of people get kicked out of houses. I've heard horror stories. And I want to make sure that I am financially stable and I'm in a safe space before, like, I mention that to my parents. And if my parents see that, they can watch this video and understand where I am coming from. And hopefully they can understand mostly everything and accept me for who I am, and that you more than likely won't get grandchildren from the son. So, and this next question kind of runs into it. What prevented you from coming out early? Okay. I wanted to come out around 2011, and if people have been watching me from way back then, they noticed that I took a big hiatus from YouTube, and 2011 is somewhere around I started high school, and that's when I got gay slurs, and I got neighbors start asking me, like, just blunt, are you gay? Are you? And back then, I would tell them, no, I'm not. What are you talking about? And they would always be like, oh, the way you act is a little gay, a little, like, not normal. So I didn't want to be that weird person. So I've like vanished off of YouTube for quite a while, and now I'm back, as you see, and I try to pop out any videos I can when I can, but I do have a full-time job, and I'm not going to neglect my only source of income for YouTube. But if YouTube decides to take off for me, I will more than gladly have YouTube as a side source of revenue. But I do not think it's going to pop off as well as I am right now. So, who did who first? Okay, next question. So this is probably, I think, 8. Don't know, but this is like a bunched up question. So I'll read it all at once and then divide it all up. Okay, so who did you come out to first, and what was the experience like? And what tips can you give to those whose friends or families are coming out to them? So, as I already said, the first person I came out to was Kathy, my best friend, and I knew she was a true friend because we've been through thick and thin together. We both had each other's backs on many occasions, and we were always there to like comfort each other and give great advice both to each other. And I feel like I'm still giving her pretty good advice on almost everything, in my opinion. What tips can I give to friends slash families of coming out? I would say try to, if you can, accept for them for who they are. Know that they're going through a bunch of changes. If they're young, they're probably getting it off all at once because something might be forcing them to, or someone said something and they feel like they have to get off their chest. Or it could be vice versa. It could be an older gay or LGBTQ plus person who just needs to come out. And the thing I can see is just try to accept, like research, learn what they're going through, learn that the social norm for you is not the social norm for them. Social norm for me was wake up every morning. I'll quote one of my favorite YouTubers that I found out that is bi, and it is Mike MGTV. I will say now, don't take much advice that he gives because it's coming through a different eyes than what you might be going through. So his thing is the social norm for everyone is having a wife, kissing them good morning, kissing your 2 to 3 kids awake, working a 9 to 5 or an 8-hour shift job, coming home and seeing your kids again. In a gay's version, it's waking up, hopefully having a spouse of the same gender, or if you're bi, opposite, trans, or whatever. Waking up in the morning, going to work, coming back, and feeling great. But so, like, that's 2 different things that a straight person won't quite understand what a gay person is going through. And the thing is, just like, ask questions about stuff. More than likely, they will know the answer to it, and they'll be more than happy to teach you some things, but they don't want to be a dictionary of what does this mean? If when you do this, what does that mean? It's just like, do some research. As I said, best examples, research who Martha is. Martha P. Johnson, one of the first, I'm gonna probably get it wrong, cross-dressing men, so drag queens of that era, and learn about Stonewall and why it's important to all of us. That was a heavy loaded one, and I'm sorry. Next one. Is there anything that surprised you about your life after coming out versus before? To the people that I've came out to, I would say yes, it has been a big change because, as I said before, I don't need to have a filter on me all the time. Yes, when I go out, of course, I try to tone my excitement or how I'm feeling down a little bit. I'm fine with that because no one wants to be next to the person, like in a cafe, and they're literally with their coffee cup spouting nonsense and being all like flamboyant. And if you are that, I'm not knocking you that that's who you are. But when I see that, I'm like, I need to get out of here or I'm going to start throwing hands. So usually then I will excuse myself from whatever situation and I'm like, you can do you. I'm stepping out here for a couple minutes. I'll be back. Or you can come find me over there. So, yeah. So, yeah. Okay, next question. Are there any negative aspects to coming out? If so, what are they? Always, when you're coming out, make sure you have a safe space to fall back on. Make sure that you don't. I would say the worst thing you can probably do of coming out is going up to your parents out of the blue and literally dropping on them, I'm gay and you can't do anything about it, and storming off. That is, in my opinion, the worst thing, and I have actually seen it quite a few times, and I always like shake my head. I'm like, that is the worst thing you could have done. I would say the better approach to it is writing a letter and handing it to them. Maybe dipping away for a couple minutes while they're reading it. And make sure you're putting everything in there. Like how I am in this video. Like, put down all your intentions, everything. Don't leave one little thing out. You leave one little thing out, it could hurt you in the long run. Like I planned on doing letters. I've been planning on doing this for a long time, since I graduated high school in 2014. The only thing that's been stopping me is not family direct issues, but more medical side. Like my mom and dad have been going through tons and tons of stuff, and me dropping this right on them and not knowing if they're gonna be pissed or they're gonna be excited and fine. So I'm in a weird like limbo for me right now type state. Like, is it a good time? Is it not a bad time? Is it like I don't know. And that's like what I have been going through. Okay, next question. Here's another, like, a bunch of ones. How out are you? Do you come out to strangers? Do you practice PDA? If so, question mark. Okay, so how out are you? In my friend category, I'm about halfway out, but I also don't have a lot of close friends. I have a lot of distance friends, which, as I said, hopefully they watch this video, or I'm also going to be putting a thing on Instagram, and I'm following a lot of distance friends on Instagram, so hopefully they will take me as who I am, or in the worst thing, they just block me and leave. And I'm totally fine with either of those. I won't be mad at them, but all my very close friends I have told, and they all have accepted me for who I am, and I am so happy I made the right choice of telling them and picking the right friends. Do you come out to strangers? Okay, I'm gonna kind of reword that. I did come out to strangers, but they actually turned into my coworkers. So that's where it was. Where I work, we always get summer help, and I knew the hardest thing I could do is tell I think she's Baptist or Catholic. If you come up to me and you say what's the difference between them, I couldn't tell you. I really couldn't. To me, I both see them in almost the same eye as you're just a person reading a book and following your faith. You're following your religion. And I'm like, okay, you do you. If you agree or disagree with something I say, tell me about it and we can discuss about it. But if you throw your religion and faith at me, all the sass, all the gay is coming straight out at you, and I'm not going to hold back. It's going to come full force. Those gates are going to be blown open. But I told these two girls, which were they were sisters, so I told the youngest sister that I was gay, and we had a great talk about it, and she's like, and we almost exactly what I've said here, I told her. And the only thing is, I did not know her, and I really should have learned her reaction a lot more. But in my mind, is if I told her, someone that has a very strong belief, and what they have been taught is that being gay or being different is a big no-no, and seeing what her reaction is will kind of tell me what the worst possible thing is. But kind of backfired because she was totally all for it, and then later on she told me that she also had some gay friends of her own and everything. There's been some stories she's told that I'm not fully there for, and I wish I didn't hear her. I was out the room. But there was one day when she was sitting at the table, I was sitting across from her, and then her older sister that was working with us came in, and she's like, Mark, is it alright if I tell her? And I'm like, I really couldn't give a shit at that point in time. And she's like, Mark, tell her. I'm like, you asked me if it was alright if you told her, and she's like, okay. She's like, Mark's gay. And she's like, oh, okay. And took off her gloves and literally walked out of the room like she didn't give two craps. So, yes, I did. Do you practice PDA? If so, yes and no. I'm not sure how to answer that fully yet. So I'll just say yes/no. Okay, last one. Did internalized or external homophobia still impacts you? If so, how? What have you found to be a helpful way for coping with it? Okay, here's another one, because where I grew up, there was not a lot of homophobia. Yes, everyone would drop the, like, stupid faggot, like, dropping the F, like, gay F word, or that person is very fruity. Like, they like that. Blah, blah, blah. So, like, I kind of dealt with it all my life, so I don't know how to say, like, I'm not fully okay with it. I do have some, like, urges. Like, I don't like that. But if I don't like something, I excuse myself and I walk out. Which some people would say, that's a no. You should be sticking up for yourself. But I'm like, if they're acting like that in front of all these people, there's no way they're gonna change for a little old me. So, like, there is some people, like, coworkers, if they're doing that, you can mention to them, like, oh, I'm gay, I took offense to that, can you please not mention stuff like that around me? And they could go like, the douchebag, no, I'm not gonna do that for you. Or they can take it in and be like, oh, I'm sorry that hurt your feelings, I didn't mean it, I'll try to hold back on some things I say. And you can be like, thank you. And if you ever see, like, me walking out, just understand that someone's talking about something that I don't want to hear. So that is pretty much it. There was one other thing I did want to bring up, and I meant to actually bring it up in the very beginning, but I did not. Okay, so if you guys know what that layout is, that is TikTok. So about a year ago, and this is gonna be like the final, like, story thing, is, and if you guys want me to make more TikToks or tell more gay stories or whatever, or have any questions at all, leave it in the bottom and I will try to make another video after I get a couple questions. And I will try to answer them as best as I can. But if you guys know what that is TikTok, and up there is my username, ashpika1795, because someone took my main name. So I promised myself about a year ago, if I got up to 500 likes, that I would post my videos to YouTube. I'm gonna scroll all the way down to my very first ones. Here are my very first ones. All 6 of these, I think are coming out. Yeah. Okay, yeah, so these 6 were kind of like coming out-ish type videos. And I think it was in this one, these 3 were like in a whole series. So if you guys want to watch them, they are public, anyone can see them. They were all like my coming out type stories. And I would be very happy if you did follow me, but I'm not forcing you guys to. But it was basically like, if I reached 500 hearts on any of my videos, they would get brought up onto Instagram for everyone to see, which none of them, actually this one got, for some odd reason, got 700, and I don't know how that got up to 2,000. Oh my god, it was a horrible. Okay, now I remember. But yes, so I made quite a couple videos, but then for the longest time they were not popping off. Then I'm like, okay, at 200 likes, which we literally just hit a couple days ago, I was gonna make some type of video, and the very saddest part is I decided to make my coming out date September 11th, 2019. Well, it's kind of like 11/12th because if you guys don't know, TikTok videos are they take a long time to edit. So these two right here were made on September 11th, and then we have this one up here that went to 12, so it's 12 and 11. And yes, it is a very screwed up date for me to kind of be celebrating something good when something very bad has happened. And if you're very young or you don't know what I'm talking about, research that and understand why that date is meaningful to all of us that were born around the 90s and all the tragedy that that date has brought us to. So I know it's kind of screwed up, but I was not thinking at that time, and yeah, it was just something I really wanted to get off my chest. And ever since like high school, I have been dodging left and right of any way I could come out. So that is my coming out stories slash question and answer. And I'm hoping that some people took some advice or took something from this, and I'm hoping that the majority of my friends still stick with me and congratulate me and like accept me for who I am and are still going to be. It's just a different chapter in my life. So I know this video was how long, and I'm truly sorry. And I guess the last little things are follow me on Instagram and Twitch at ashpika17, and I guess now follow me on TikTok at ashpika1795. And again, if you want any more story times, any more if you want to see me do some TikTok type things, I can make a couple up, do a compilation and post them onto YouTube, or if we can do a TikTok day on stream or whatever, because copyright, gotta love copyright. So I guess I will see you guys in the next video, and I'm not sure who or what it is going to be. I'm very backlogged with a lot of things right now, so whenever I get to it, you're gonna get a full month, I can promise you that, of videos. So I'll see you guys when I can, and as a new person. So I'll see you guys later.